Hey guys, hope you guys had a good trading day. I had a pretty decent day. Tell you a little bit about it. From the beginning, I was long biased. Lately here, I've been having biases off the beginning. Normally, sometimes I just let the market play out and go with a bias from there. But I've been having biases playing out. So um, in the beginning, I caught this little nice little up move here. You know, pretty decent. And then coming down here, I broke even once, twice, and then I had a full stop out. But in these areas, I finally broke, and I made some money on the upside. But again, and you can kind of tell the like just trading it and looking at the dome, you can kind of tell the market volatility has went down. Volatility went down. I didn't have to look at the VIX. It just you could just feel it when you're trading. I'm a type of trader that in order for me to really get a feel of the market, I have to be in it. I can't stand on the sideline and watch. I have to like get ran over a few times, get beat up. So that's the way I really understand the market. So, but you could just tell it wasn't the same. And then after the market, I kind of looked at the VIX, and it was in the 20s. So you can feel it that it went down. Um, and then by this point of the week, your adjustment should be made. You should be a little settled in. You should be more comfortable with the environment. I know I am. After Monday and Tuesday, you're kind of like ready for anything. Which you should be anyway. But it's just really put it in your face. Like 100-point rally and 70-point down move. Stuff like that. So you were ready. You was ready for anything. You should be. Your style should have adjusted a little bit. You should be ready by this point. So you should be like ready as far as your trading. And then another thing I like to talk about is the other day I pretty much mentioned in my last video that I believe that about algos. And what I really meant about there's no algo trading, I didn't mean there's no algo trading. Period. I didn't really mean it in that broad term, like there's no algos. What I mean is there's a lot of algos with this volatility. I feel like they stepped aside. Like they stepped aside because this environment don't fit what their algo was built for. So that's what I mean. And then also with the market, and the whole argument was why the dome is thin. And then another thing is I feel like a lot of retail traders too, they stepped to the side on Monday and Tuesday and said, okay, this is a little bit too wild for me, and they just let the market play out. I feel like that happened. And then a lot of I think people who've been doing this for a while, and big investors and big traders just stepped aside because it was really wild too. So that's why I feel like the market it's been was thin. But we all know, like last time I read, I think they say 70-80% of the volume is algos in the market. So I wasn't saying there's no algo trading. That's not what I was really saying. I just felt like I had to uh, clear that up. You know, um, I mean, when you look at Tuesday, that move into the close, that's purely algos. That's algos feeding off algos. Because that move was so vicious and so fast that humans really couldn't really keep up that fast. So I just feel like that was algos. So that's all I really meant by that. And then what I wanted to talk about is um, this is something that I just been thinking about lately, and it's a way that I always figure out, like how, like when I was in my rut, when I was struggling, what really helped me get out of it and snap out of it. One, my mentor, and I can remember this conversation like it was yesterday. He set me down, and what the trade strategy, I don't even know what it was at the time. Whatever trading strategy I had at the time, it just wasn't working. I wasn't abiding by the rules. I was sometimes, it still wasn't working. I was getting discouraged. It just wasn't working for me. One, because it was pretty much somebody else's plan. Now that I kind of remember it, and it wasn't all my own ideas. I mean, it wasn't like it was all like it was someone's idea. So that's basically why too. But one of the reasons that it just didn't work for me, and I was just in the dumps, and he set me down. He said, "Listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to tear it down." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I want you to tear your whole trading strategy. Just tear it, scrap it, tear it down. You're gonna tear yourself down to build yourself back up. I want you to go home and I want you to write everything that works in your plan, and everything that don't work, just throw it away, and just start from there." And I remember feeling like a lot of anxiety about that because there was like months and a year I've been on this strategy, So it's like you want me to just completely scrap it. So it was an anxiety because I didn't want to do that. I was stubborn, but he's been doing it for 30 years. So I said, okay, all right. I tore it down. I went and did exactly what he told me to do. So if you're struggling, what I'm trying to say is tear it down. Like whatever's not working, just completely scrap it, tear it down. But and this is the thin line that it's kind of hard to explain. You actually have to give a strategy that you're working on. You have to give it time to work, but you also have to know when it's to end. So you have to give it, and I can't tell you when that time is because it's a thin line between you knowing giving it time to really work and grow into it, and then there's a thin line between okay you hold on to this strategy for too long and you need to scrap it and start over. So that's a thin line. And I mentor traders now too, and I never really tell them how to trade. I give them ideas. The reason why I don't because that it has to come from them. It has to come from them. I'm just here to give them encouragement and help them get to where they're trying to get to and steer them in what I think is the right way. But I'm not here to tell them, okay, trade exactly like me. I'm here to tell them how I trade, and they know how I trade, and I give them, okay, this is how I look at it. But my job is not to say, okay, this is my trading strategy, and you trade exactly like me. Create me because it won't work. That person has to figure out their strategy from their own point of view and what makes sense to them when they look at the market. Because what makes sense to me may not make sense to them, and there's no right or wrong way of trading. As long as you're managing your risk and taking and your winners are way bigger than your losers when you do lose and when you do win, then that's pretty much the basis of the strategy. But and another thing I want to talk about too is there's no set time frame for when you become a successful trader because I know just it could be guys that has been doing this for 4 3 4 years and they're like wow am I cut for this and I'm built and if am I built for this. There's no time frame to say, okay, in a year or two you should be profitable, or there 2 years. There's no time for this. You could be profitable after a year, after 6 months, with the right guidance and being at the right place at the right time. And it could take you 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So if you're in the 2 3 4 year range and you're not profitable, don't be discouraged. Just know if this is truly what you want to do, don't tell no one you can't. Don't let no one tell you you can't do this because you can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to want it. You just have to want it more than the next person. You have to think about Michael Jordan. He worked his whole life to become the best basketball player. And then when he became the best basketball player, he probably worked even harder to stay the best basketball player. So this trading thing is it's a career long improvement process like just like this market here. You're gonna make tweaks and turns to your trading and tweak it here and there. And I'm never the one to tell you to completely blow your strategy up, even if you're profitable. That's not what I always say. If you need to make tweaks along the way and tweak this and tweak that, you're gonna have to do that. Like me, I made tweaks during this week because the market environment changed. From the outside eye, if you know how I trade, it didn't look like it, but I did. For me, I know I made little small tweaks because that's trading. The environment changed. I changed with the environment, and that's trading. That's what trading is going to be. So if you're not a person who like to change with the environment, then trading is probably not for you. But I just want to convey that if you're in that 2 to 3 year range and you're not profitable and you're getting discouraged, just hang in there because that one little idea can be right around the corner. That one idea that you need to flip to turn that corner can be right around the corner actually. So you have to keep beating at your craft, keep working every day, put in hard work, and trust me, if you do that, it will pay off. And I guarantee you, if you look at the work you're not putting in as much work as you think you can. Whatever work you're putting in, put in 20% more because that's what you're going to need to actually succeed at this. You're trading against some of the smartest people in the world, and you can't expect it to be easy. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know, IM me or put it in my blog. But hope you guys had a good trading day. Have a good night.